Hi everyone, and welcome to part 10 of the Ivy and the Inky Butterfly Door to Enchantia colour along. So I hope you've really enjoyed the 9 parts that have come before this, and we are nearing the finish line now, which is awesome. It seems to have taken forever, but I'm glad that you're all enjoying it. So today we're going to concentrate on the wonder room, the inside of this door, and that leads to this room, which is depicted a little bit earlier in the book. And I'm not sure whether most of you will have done this page already or not, but I'm sure that if you have, you'll want to keep your colour scheme the same because, you know, fluidity throughout the book and consistency, whatever. So that's totally fine with me. You don't have to follow exactly what I do. You can just colour along with me with your own colours. I'm obviously going to be keeping to the colours that I've used here. But to be honest, these items don't actually feature in this page, so we can colour them sort of from scratch without having to refer back to here. There are a few items that are very similar, for example this sort of leaf thing in a frame, but on this page it's horizontally aligned, so it's not the same one. And also this leaf here features on the page here, but it's actually flipped around, and the things that are next to it here aren't next to it here, so it's obviously another side of the room that this is on. So what I'm going to do first is colour the background, and I coloured this background in clay rose and then I went over it with white. So that's what I'm going to be doing first of all. Now obviously you can colour it whatever colour you've done your background in the wonder room, or you can just colour along with me. So I'll zoom in, get the book straightened out. There we go. So I hope you've all had a nice few days since last spoke to you. I've not done anything much, to be honest, just you know, the general housework and stuff like that. Took my son Max to his parkour class last night. Parkour is like free running. You know, you might have seen these videos on YouTube, people jumping off the sides of walls and things, and the way that they land and the way that they navigate around obstacles and stuff like that. So that's what parkour is, and he loves it. He's really physical, and he got his British gymnast badge through the other day, so he's like going around telling everyone he's a professional gymnast, even though for ages he was like, gymnastics is for girls, parkour is for boys, and blah blah blah. But yeah, so he's really enjoying that. So there's nothing special to how I'm colouring this, literally just colouring it in, and then I'm going to go over it with the white pencil. Thanks again to everyone who's left a comment on the last video. Really appreciate your comments, and I look and read every single one, and I always leave you a heart and a thumbs up, if not a reply, depending on if I've got time or whether you need a reply, etc, etc, but I do read every single one. Thanks for all your advice following the last video about things that I was talking about medically. A lady's recommended the Myrena coil instead of the mini pill, and I might look into that because it sounds like it could be better for the whole weight gain, weight loss thing, which is not going well at the moment, as you know. So that might be something that I look into a bit more. Also, thank you for the comments that you left about, really supportive comments about me being on the antidepressants and, you know, needing them and not having to feel ashamed. I don't feel ashamed at all. I know that I need them, and I've needed them for the past 9 years now, so I can't see it changing anytime soon, but I am trying to lower the dose a little bit to see if that helps as well with the weight gain. So at the moment I'm trying to wean myself down by taking sort of 50 one night, 100 another night, 50 one night, 100, and then I'll slowly increase the 50s and decrease the 100s. So we'll see how it goes. But it was Time to Talk Day yesterday, promoting conversations about mental health with it being a taboo subject. So it's always great to talk about these things because a lot of people that suffer from depression, anxiety, etc., they do feel really alone, and talking from experience, you often feel like you're the only person in the world that feels like this and you're completely weird and why is your brain wired up wrong and etc, etc. So it's really, really important to talk about these things and let people know that it is very, very common. And while that isn't, you know, any kind of cure for it, it might make it a little bit easier to deal with. So going over this clay rose with the white, I can't really remember why I did it like this in the first place. I think it was probably just to burnish it a little bit, make it look a bit smoother. And I wanted it to be quite a light background because there's so much going on in that wonder room. I didn't want the background to sort of, you know, take the eye everywhere in the page. You know, I just wanted it to be really kind of soft and light and plain. So that's probably why I did this. So I'm giving it a good hard layer of the white, which is really lightening it up and makes a nice base colour for the background. I've had loads of messages from people who are watching the colour along videos but they're not actually colouring this page with me, and they're really enjoying just listening to me chat away, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. It's certainly a lovely compliment, and I'm a bit overwhelmed really by how many of you are commenting on these videos and saying that you're absolutely loving it. I keep saying, you know, it's just I didn't think it would be this popular, so I'm really, really happy about that. And I'm glad that you're enjoying every video, because as I've explained before, it's pretty much off the cuff. Not a lot of planning goes into it, and we just see how things go at the time. It's a bit trial and error, so I think that that's all of the backgroundy bits done. Just make sure that it looks smooth. So I'm not really too bothered about that looking perfect anyway. It's just a background and everything else is so busy that we don't really need to do anything special with this background. So as for the items, the only thing really that features in the Wonder Room is this rug, and I'll just show it to you. So where are we? So the rug I've done down here it's like a purple and orange with yellow stripes. So I'm going to obviously continue doing that for consistency, but you can colour it whatever you want. So I'm going to get out the purple and orange. Let me just turn back to that page so I can see exactly what shades I used, because I can't remember. So I think yeah, it's looking a lot like the cadmium orange hue, I think. Cadmium orange hue. And for the purple, I imagine it would be violet. Let's check. Sorry, just off camera, just checking. No, the violet's a bit too purple. This is more of a blue purple. Let's go. Where's the blue violet? Violet blue. Let's try that. It's a bit too blue. Don't you hate it when you forget which colours you use? It's really annoying. Let's try dioxane purple. That's too dark. What about ultramarine? Let's try that. Still looking a bit more purple. No, it's not imperial violet. I'm going to go with the violet blue. And I know it's not exactly the same colour, but I really don't know which one I used, and I can't seem to match it up at the moment, so I'm not bothered anyway. Right, so we're going with the cadmium orange hue and the violet blue for this rug. You will need a nice sunny yellow as well, and we'll get onto that in a mo. So what I've done on the rug, keep having to just check back, is I've done the diamonds in the rug in orange, the diamond outlines, and then the outside of the diamonds in the purpley blue. So all I did here was really roughly sort of coloured heavily at the bottom and the top of the diamond shape, and just smoothed it out to white in the centre. I didn't really do anything special on that, but it still gives it a little bit of a shine effect. So once we've got this rug out of the way, we can then decide from scratch what colours we're doing everything else. So very, very simply, just heavier on the bottom and the top of the diamond edge. Yeah, I've already messed up. Let's see if I can just erase that a sec. Be fine because we're using a darker colour anyway. So just making sure that you're colouring the right bit of the diamond. And then again these outer edges in the blue colour. So if you wanted to, you could go over with a colourless blender or the white pencil and just make that really smooth and not grainy. But I'm just going to leave it like this because that's how I did it in the original picture. So it's quite rough looking, a little bit textured, but rugs are textured, aren't they? So it doesn't really matter. Just referring back again for a sec. So I literally just did it orange, purple, and orange for these little triangular shapes here. For the centre of the diamonds, purple again. That's about right. And then for the squares that you can see up here, now we only had, I don't know if you can see this, we only had the very tips of the squares showing, so I just did those in sort of block orange with purple in the middle. So I think what I'll just do is simply put the purple on these inner lines and the purple in this little box, leaving a little bit white in the middle, and then again orange grading down and grading up from the bottom. Okay, and then the diamonds that we have at the bottom here were all orange coming from the bottom and then purple coming from the top. So we'll do all these bottom orange ones, just grading up from the bottom to the top, dark to light. I'm really loving the bursts of colour that we've got going on now. There's been quite a lot of block colours. Obviously we've graded everything, but there's a lot of pink, there's a lot of green, and now we've got lots of different colours coming into play. So I'm loving how that's coming across. And then purple from the top, grading down to white at the bottom. And as for this part here, that's sort of fishbone, do they call it? I don't think that appeared on the original part of the rug. That was obviously a bit further down. So we need to just decide what we're going to do. I might just do alternating orange and purple just to keep it in the same vein. And let's just colour it solidly because there's not much room to mess about here. Going to need nice sharp pencils for this. Mine are going a little bit blunt, so they're going everywhere, but that's okay. So I don't know whether any of you watch other colour-alongs on YouTube, but I've recently started watching, excuse me, Pencil Stash. And this lady is amazing. She colours from Romantic Country by Eri. And her tutorials are really, really good. She talks you through everything. It's pretty much real time. Sometimes she'll explain something and then speed it up a little bit. But it is, you know, she explains everything that she's doing and all of her colours and everything like that. So if you haven't heard of her, definitely check out her channel. She's brilliant. Right, for the inside stripes of the rug, I did say that we would need a very sort of nice orangey yellow. So let's go for Spanish orange. That's a nice colour. And I think all I did here was just do it completely solidly. So let's see how we go. Just going in from both edges to start with, seeing if we might want to leave a little bit of a gradient in the middle, just to add to this shiny sort of texture of the rug. That's pretty good. I'll do the same on this side as well. So since we last spoke, I have my husband has booked tickets for me and my sister and my brother to go to see the League of Gentlemen live in Nottingham. Now, I have spoken about the League of Gentlemen before and Inside Number 9 and all that, but we are massive fans and I just cannot wait. We've got the director's bar seating, so we're going to get some free drinks and good seats. And it's all the way in September, so we've got ages and ages to wait, but my brother's really excited. He's never been to any kind of concerts or anything like that, so he's like super hyped. Well, as hyped as a 16-year-old boy can be. He doesn't really show his emotions, but I know that he's excited for it. And yeah, so am I. It's going to be awesome. So can't wait for that. I think the last time I went to see any kind of concert or show, gosh, was Ed Sheeran when I went to Wembley. And then before that, it was like Westlife or something back in 2000. So yeah, super excited for that. Just put these colours away now. So when was the last time you went to see a show or a gig or a concert or anything like that? Let me know. Right, we've done our rug, we've done our background. Now, all of these items, as I said, are not featured on the Wonder Room, so we can just make up our colours as we go along. So I'm looking at these scrolls here. That's the first thing that jumps out to me because we did the artichoke and ginger root combo on this scroll right here. And they are really good scroll colours, so let's just go in with that. So we've got our artichoke, and on this curled edge, this right hand edge of the scroll, am I on camera? Yes. We're going with some quite heavy artichoke and grade it outwards. And then in with the ginger root and just carry on till we get to the edge. French greys are also really good, the lighter French greys, if you don't have the artichoke and the ginger root. So that's an alternative that you could do. And then just on the inner bit of this, we'll do a bit of artichoke and then a bit of ginger root. So it's really just very, very, very simple, easy colouring, but it is more effective than just block colouring it, because it just gives it that bit of light and shade, that bit of 3-dimension. Doing exactly the same on all of these scrolls. So we're going in between the sort of land or sea patterns that are on these scrolls, and we'll colour those accordingly. Putting some artichoke here and there. And then finishing off with our ginger root. So thank you for all the questions you guys have sent in. I did request that you ask more questions so that I have more things to talk about, and I've received lots and lots. So first of all, Lulu asks, out of all the colouring pages I've completed, which one am I most proud of or most fond of? This is a really, really hard question, because over the past sort of year or so, I've really honed my skills quite a lot compared to previously. So pretty much most of the pictures that I do now, I'm really sort of happy with, because I've found my level with skills and stuff like that. So to pick one that I most like out of all of them is really, really hard. So what I've done, you're gonna hate me now because I'm gonna have to zoom out and show you all these. What I've done is picked out a few different ones that I really, really like, and I'll just show them to you quickly. So first of all, this one from Fantasia colouring book, and I coloured this with the Holbein pastel pencils. Really, really like that. It's very soft, very light colours. This one is from the, let me just check the title, the Calm Waters colouring book, and this is a leprechaun in his little den with the rainbow and the pot of gold and everything, and I really like that one. I did that with polychromos, by the way. This is one I did from Jasmine Beckett Griffith's colouring book. This is Captain Molly Morgan, and I did this with Spectrum Noir markers. There's nothing amazing about the sea or anything like that. I haven't used any special techniques, but I just like how bright it is, and I love the hair as well. This one is from Magisk Grinning by Hannah Carlson, and it's really nice multicoloured glassy crystals and shards and things like that. I really like that one. This one is from the Enchanted Forest Artist Edition, and I really like how that one turned out with the night and day, and then colouring the black leaves and the owl. Now, pretty much all of them that I've done from Sagor og Sagna I really like, because the book's just amazing. But I'll just flick through just to show you a few of them. So, where are we? There's another one. Mostly use Prismacolors. This one was done with the Pablos. That's my test page, and I didn't like the Pablos, but it did turn out quite well. Another one there. And that one. We've got the Winter King. And then finally the Santa. So really, really like that book. And then finally, before you get too bored, this is one from Enchanted Forest that I did. This was one of the first ones that I added anything into. So I added the sun in the background and the this sort of sandy looking type thing. And I just really like it because it was, it was a little bit of an experiment. But I don't like how these turrets look a little bit like post boxes. But yeah, like that one. So that's all of the ones that I picked out to show you. Hope I wasn't being too self-indulgent there. Now then, let's see. So we've done our scrolls. Now we're going to need a few bits of green and blue for those land and sea areas on the scroll. So let's pick out a really nice sea blue. I'm going to go for, let's go for True Blue, because that's really nice and bright. And I'm thinking that this is quite a kind of C shape. Still on camera, but I need to zoom in. Here we go. So we'll just colour right around the edge and sort of grade it out to the middle like that. Again, this is looking like the sea as well, so let's do the same on this scroll. And of course, if you do want to darken it up just to add a little bit more contrast, you can just get your peacock blue, which blends really nice with the True Blue, and just give it a bit more of an edge, a bit of a darker edge. And then for this one, it looks more like a craggy sort of landmass edge. So let's go for a really nice bright deep green. So this, I think, is grass green. It's PC 909, but it's gone down that much that I can't see what it's called anymore. So we'll do the edge, and again, just make it a little bit lighter as you go towards this very edge of the scroll on the right hand side. There we go, that just really simple, but it's blinged up those scrolls a little bit. Now then, where do we start? So we've got a shelf here, so I'm thinking brown. Straight away I've just picked out the dark brown, so there's no skill in picking these colours, I'm literally just picking them out of the air. And let's do the same thing where we come in from each edge and gradiate towards the middle. You'll see me doing a lot of this, because it's just a simple way of making it look a little bit more interesting to the eye than just solidly colouring it. And if you still think it looks too flat, like I said, you can come in with a darker colour at the very edges to give more of a contrast. I think maybe, so this is 90% warm grey, just add in a little bit to the edge, just deepens it a little bit. Okay, so this here is looking a bit like a mirror to me, because it's quite a large sort of expanse of nothing. So I'm just thinking, how should we do a mirror? I'm thinking silver, and also very light blue as well for a mirror-y type thing. But then again, it would be reflecting something, wouldn't it? It wouldn't just be reflecting nothing. Let's just try a bit of silver around the edge. You know what, I think if we just do a bit of silver around the edge and sort of grade it into the centre, it will give that mirror effect, the impression of a reflective surface. I don't know, we could probably do, like, draw a few little things that are reflecting in the mirror, but that's not always in everyone's skill set, so maybe we'll just leave it like this and see how it looks at the end, and see if it looks okay or whether it needs something doing to it. So all I'm doing is silver right around the edge, grading it into the centre so it looks a little bit more shiny and like some lights shining on it. Hopefully that looks okay. So it's really quite shiny. Let's leave it like that for now and see what we think at the end. Now, as for the frame of the mirror, we can do anything we want. So mirror frames are quite usually gold, aren't they? So I'm getting this gold, metallic gold PC 950, and let's just do a solid band of gold around the silver. That might serve to make it even more like a mirror. So for this bit of scalloped edge around the edge of the mirror, what shall we do? We could probably do some more silver actually. There we go, that's not too bad. Just giving the impression that it's a mirror and it's a reflective surface. So hopefully we've achieved that. So next up we've got another frame to do. Let's go for quite a different colour this time. Let's try this henna colour. It's not a colour that I use often. So let's see how that turns out. Again, we'll just do the corners, grading up. This is quite a rich sort of burnt red colour, this henna. Reminds me of bacon. If I was going to colour bacon, I'd use this colour. So more questions. I've got lots of questions from Alyssa, so thank you, Alyssa. She's asked, how many sets of pencils do I own? Okay, so I have the Prismacolor 150, the Polychromos 120, the Holbein 150, the Ergosoft 36, the Spectrum Noir Colour Blend, Aqua Blend, and the Colorista, the whole sets of those. The whole set of Derwent ink tents, I think that's 72 pencils. That might be it, I think, for pencils. Yeah, I think so. So I don't actually have that many, so I don't have the Pablo. I did have them, but I sent them back. I did not like them whatsoever. And I really learnt a lesson from that because I should have tried open stock first. I haven't got the luminance. I've only got a few of those, like literally like 5. And I do quite like them, but I just can't afford to lay out for the entire set. So I don't have the luminance. What else is there on the market? That's kind of the top sort of ones, isn't it? So I think that's it for pencils. I do love pencils though, I've really come to appreciate them. I used to properly be into markers, alcohol markers, because I just thought they were loads easier than pencil and they looked a lot smoother and better. But I've come to realise that pencils are a lot more adaptable and versatile. And they're quite tactile as well, because differing your pressure really makes a difference in the look of the laydown. So yes, those are all my pencil sets, I think. Oh, I also have the Spectrum Noir colour tint ones, which are like tinted graphite. So we've done our frame in the henna colour, and let's do a really nice bright yellow background on this little leaf plant thing. So let's go for our brightest yellow, which is the canary yellow, and just go in between this plant. Just going to do this solidly. Now it doesn't have to be leaves, I don't think. It could be some sort of floral thing. So let's contrast with the yellow completely and make the leaves purple. So I've got the violet. I'm literally just doing a very small touch of the colour in the centre corner of the petal, and just blushing out to the white of the page as we reach the edge. There we go. We don't have to fill in all the white, you don't always have to do that. It's nice to leave a bit of white sometimes. So this is quite a fast-paced sort of, there's so many little bits and bobs, I'm just always constantly getting pencils out, so I hope that's not annoying people. This frame, let's go with something completely different and do a nice blue frame. So I've got a Copenhagen blue. Same exact technique again. Darker in the corners, light in the centre. There we go. And then for the leaf, let's just pull out this grass green again and the apple green. So we'll do grass green at the bottom of the leaf, and we'll put apple green at the top and blend them together. They blend really nicely together as well, so. As for the back, we could always leave it white. Oftentimes things that are mounted, like leaves and stuff, might have a white background. But what we could do, just to give it a little bit of something, is just put a little bit of grey-green light in sort of a halo around it. So it's not quite as bright white as the paper. You won't be able to pick up on this on camera, I shouldn't think, but it just dulls the white a little bit, gives it a little bit of a tinge of colour. Okay, what next? So we have these jars. Now literally you can just pick out any colours you want for this. So I've just pulled out the peacock blue. Just going to go around each section of the bottom of this jar. Just like that. So I'm not filling the whole thing in, I've just outlined each little scalloped section and left a bit of white in the middle. Let's do the exact same colour on the rim. There we are. And as for the other bits, you could probably just get a bit of a lighter blue, so let's go for Caribbean Sea. Again, both sides grading to the middle, so really sharp pencils needed, definitely. So this one at the back. So we've got one at the back and one at the front, I think. And these are quite rounded, so let's pull out the Parma Violet and just do a bit of a rounded C shape on this one. And then with the lilac, we can just gradiate it out to the edge and leave a little bit of a white outline on this right hand side, just to give the impression of a curve. Do the same for the rim of the pot as well. Really, really simple. And for the one behind it, let's bring in a bit of orange, because orange and purple contrast quite well. So just getting the actual orange colour, doing again that sort of rounded C shape as best as you can. And then a much lighter orange is the Sunburst yellow colour, so we'll blend that in there and again leave a little bit of a white outline on the edge. don't know if I can zoom in any more on this, but just so you can see what I mean about leaving the white at the edge. Now this jar's got a little bit of beading on it, so let's just pull out the, I think this is Scarlet Lake. Yeah, Scarlet Lake. Just colour all of those beads. Okay, so we've done all of that. Now let's move on to these jars on the floor. So we can, let's go for, I'm literally just picking out any colour. So let's go for Process Red. This will tie it in with our background as well. And this time we're going to do both curved edges leading into the middle. So more questions. Alyssa has said, have I had to replace a Prismacolor pencil yet due to using it up? Yes, I have. It was the non-photo blue. So you might have heard me say, sorry, this is the blush pink. You might have heard me say that I almost lost my non-photo blue inside my electric sharpener because just for kicks I decided to put it in even though it was the tiniest bit of stump ever and it got stuck. So I had to replace that. That's the only pencil I think that I've literally had to replace it because it was gone. I've got some very short pencils like you saw with the grass green, but that's the first one I've had to replace. So the next question was what colouring page are you most proud of, and I've already shown you all the ones that I really like. What are your Valentine's Day plans? Don't really have any just yet. Not really too big on Valentine's Day, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. Do your kids ever colour with you? Sometimes they do. Not as often as you'd probably imagine though. They've got their own sort of things that they're into. And yeah, so no, not really, but sometimes they'll ask me how to do certain things as well, so I can teach them a few little tips and tricks. So yeah, we've used Process Red and Blush Pink on this. I'm going to do the exact same on this bit. So it's really up to you whether you want to do like we did on the jar up here, darker on one edge leading to lighter on the other, or darker on both edges leading to lighter in the middle. They both create a sort of rounded look. Maybe if you want it to look more rounded, this technique is probably best. So just leaving a little bit of white in the middle in a sort of zigzag shape. It doesn't have to be a column of white. That'll make it look a little bit more realistic as well. Now as for these other little bits, I think we'll do the lip of it completely in the Process Red. And then the bits and bobs, let's do another Process Red stripe across here. Okay, and then the bits and bobs that are on it, the bits of decoration. Let's go for something quite light. Let's get our canary yellow out again. And just colour these little twists and sort of scallops. And then for this part here, I've just pulled out the Carmine Red, which is a really, really lovely pinky red, and I don't use it anywhere near enough as much as I want to, so I should, because it's a really, really lovely colour. So again, just bringing it to the centre. That looks nice. So if you wanted to colour in those dots that are on it, you could do. I'm probably going to do those in white with the gel pen. So for this next pot that's holding the scrolls, let's go for, what haven't we really done on this page? Nice aqua bit of colour, I think. So we've got the Cobalt Turquoise and the Aquamarine, and maybe even the light aqua. These are a really lovely blend. So again, coming in from the edge with the darkest. And moving on to the Aquamarine. And then this light aqua for the centre. And you can bring that in from the other edge as well, just to give the impression that it's all the same colour. I think we'll use the Cobalt Turquoise for this top rim on its own. So from either side into the centre. And we'll do exactly the same on this bottom edge as well. And I might even colour in these little sort of D shapes just solidly with that Cobalt Turquoise. Now, as for the other little bit of pattern that's on it, let's go for a colour that I don't use very often. This is the Muted Turquoise. So this is quite a sort of very pale, very dull blue. But it's got a lot of grey in it as well. And it's just a nice little accent colour that's not, you know, really bold and vibrant, but it just sort of goes together really well with the other colours. So I've just coloured that in solidly. There we are. Okay, so this is looking like a glass bottle. So what I'm going to do is take our artichoke for this label and just solidly colour that label edge in. And then I think like a 20% warm grey right around the edges, the inner edges of the label, and leaving a slight bit of white against the edge of that Cobalt Turquoise. You can always get your white out and just make that even smoother there. And then with a really light brown, so we'll go with a burnt ochre, we'll just colour in this bit of cork. Again, leaving some white at the edge. Now the liquid inside, what colour should we do that? Let's do it in raspberry, because why not? So we don't know what it is, so it doesn't matter. So nice bit of raspberry colour there. That's another colour that I don't use much that I should. And really we're just colouring this solidly. As for the bottle itself, we can just get a really light blue, so we've got cloud blue, and just do a little bit of following the outline of the bottle, just to give it a touch of, a little bit of glass and reflective, not just white, you know. I'm also going to get a little touch of the light cerulean blue, because I think the cloud blue is just slightly too light to sort of see properly. And we'll just do a few little touches here and there, just following the curves of the edges of the bottle. Very, very simple. Okay, now then, we've just got the books, I think, and then we're on to Ivy, and I think that's like the last thing apart from the gel pen accent. So awesome, we're doing super well on this video. Actually, what is this here? So this must be Ivy's dress, and then what is this part? Let's just say it's another bottle that's in front of Ivy, maybe. Slightly odd how she's opened the door on the inside and all of these things are around and in front of her, but she's managed to open the door. But anyway, let's see, let's go for... Let's get some permanent red. And actually, no, not permanent red, because her dress is going to be red. So the opposite of red is green. That's sort of how I do things, so just think about contrasts and stuff. Let's go with this light green, and we'll just colour it in without thinking too much about it, because there's not much space here. There we go. There's a little tiny bit there, I'm not sure what it is, so I've just got the moss green out just to fill that in. Right, so the books. Let's get out some nice browns. So this is a nice brown, this is chocolate brown. And what we'll do is start with this cover here, can you see? Yeah. And fade it out towards the left edge. Just like that. The same with the cover as well. So we're starting really dark on this right hand side, and we're fading it out towards the left. So that's that. And as for the pages of the book, we want them to look a little bit yellowed, a little bit old. So let's go for sand. Just very lightly give the impression that the pages are a little bit yellowed and old, and just the impression. You can do that on all the books if you want to. I might even use that grey-green light just to do a little bit different on these pages. So we've had a brown, let's go for... Go for a nice cobalt blue for this book. Oops. Like electric blue, this is another one that doesn't like to lay down very nicely on the page. Must be something to do with blue pigments. Here we are. And finally, let's get that permanent red out that we were going to do earlier, and this one can be a really nice red one. So I'm doing either edge, top and bottom, and then blending into the middle just to look a little bit rounded. And then the front of the book as well, starting dark, grading out. Now for the little stripes on the book, finally, I'm just going to do a nice yellow, so canary yellow again, just to make them look a little bit like goldish kind of stripes. You can use the gold pencil if you wanted to, but this is just a little bit brighter. And there we are. So we literally just have to do Ivy and then all the white gel pen work and we're done. So we're on 55 minutes right now. I think I'm going to leave Ivy for the last video and all the white gel pen bits. So there's going to be one more part to this colour along and then we are done. So awesome. I might even do this one straight away and then upload them both today. So we'll see how we go. So yeah, let's zoom out so we can see what we've achieved today. As you can see, it's all come together really, really nicely. So I will see you soon on part 11, the final part. Thank you, bye.